In this Star Wars Zero Company news update video, I will be sharing with you the reveal trailer featuring gameplay, alongside a bunch of details which have just been announced. I was there at Star Wars Celebration just moments ago when it was revealed, and we are going to be going through everything we know so far. Before we do dive into all of today's news though, make sure you do subscribe to this channel so you won't miss any future news updates on Star Wars Zero Company. So, the game that has been in development at Bit Reactor and Respawn for over 3 years now has finally been unveiled at Star Wars Celebration today, and it's looking very, very cool. So it's a tactical strategy game, so very similar to XCOM. A bunch of former developers who worked on XCOM have created this game. It will release on the 3 main platforms PC, PS5 and Xbox Series X and S in 2026. A bit disappointing that it's not coming out this year, especially when there is no new Star Wars game coming out this year. However, the likelihood of it being moved for GTA 6 is quite high. Pretty much every game aside from Call of Duty and sports games are moving out of 2025 to avoid GTA 6, which is an impending ball of doom. Hopefully this is an early 2026 release, but we'll just have to wait and see. As we knew from the previous video that I made, this is set in the Clone Wars, and we have some details on the setting that's expanding upon the Clone Wars setting and the characters. So you will play as a character called Hawks, and he is a former Republic officer who's in charge of this elite squad, and he is basically a bit disgraced. So you play as Hawks, but what about the other characters? Well, we have Trick, this clone trooper, who is heavily damaged, and then we have Luco Bronk, who is an Umbaran sniper, so that's pretty cool. Then we have Clyde Culverio, who is a Mandalorian gunslinger, and he is one of the last surviving members of the ancient clan Verminoff. Plus we have Tel, who is a Tognath Jedi Padawan on a quest to complete her fallen master's last mission. So those are the main characters you are able to control. However, you will be able to actually create your own characters as well. You can also customize how Hawks looks like, so you can change his species, and even make him an astromech droid if you wish to do so. And playing as an astromech actually has a different way about going through the game. There are different things that will happen based on if you play as a humanoid character. You're able to change characters' names and things like that. There is a bunch of customization that we haven't seen in Star Wars games for quite some time now. It's not only cosmetic customization available to you, but you're also able to customize the loadouts of the various characters, the classes, and things like that. There is just a lot of options available. With this being a galaxy-wide conflict, they have made the largest and most interactive map ever featured in a Star Wars game. You will find a bunch of different locations. Some that have been confirmed today are Ceralonis from The Bad Batch, Vandor from Solo: A Star Wars Story, and Mapuzo from Obi-Wan Kenobi, but there are far more planets available. For example, the base of operations, which is where you return to after each successful mission, it's called the Den, and it's set on the Ring of Catherine, the place that we saw in Rogue One. Each mission that you choose to undertake will have an impact on the story. For example, some of the characters really don't get along, but if you have them do missions together, then it will actually build up their chemistry. This could actually change the fate of the game. The decisions you make will actually have an impact on parts of the game, how your characters progress, where their story lies. There is a ship and a droid pilot that is not confirmed to be customizable, but we do have a name for each of them. So the ship is called the Caisson, and then the pilot is M3VO, or Mevo. This game is set to be a gritty and authentic original story set within the Clone Wars, and there is a bunch of stuff coming that they have not revealed, including some surprise characters, some probably cameo appearances from some fan favourite characters that they aren't revealing at this moment in time. It is a cinematic experience, but there is a lot of depth to it. The camera will change perspective to make it feel like you're in on the action, and it's not just going to be from sort of a top-down sort of view far away from the action. Another nice detail is that Gordy Harb, who has composed most of the most recent Star Wars games, be it Battlefront, the Jedi games, Star Wars Hunters, and such, he's back composing this game as well. With that depth, the game is going to cater to those that are new to this genre, but also ones that are more hardcore into it. For example, there is going to be a permadeath mode, but there is also modes that are going to be very friendly to the ones that just want to enjoy the Star Wars story, as we've seen in more recent Star Wars games. The panel did go into a lot more detail, and it was a lot of fun to see and hear more things. It did sound like we won't have to wait long for more details, so that is exciting. Fingers crossed we'll get something this summer, even though the game is obviously out next year. I would love to hear your thoughts on anything I've talked about in this video, so please do let me know down in the comment section below, and remember to drop a like to help support the channel, subscribe so you don't miss any future Zero Company videos, and if you did miss any of my previous videos, click on the playlist on the screen right now, and I shall see you in my next video. Goodbye.